and I actually started making music when I was 7 years old. My father brought me home a snare drum from the junkyard. The snare didn't even work anymore. And I would hit the snare, and I would click the edge of the snare, and I had two little flat tape recorders, and I would record on one, the drum part, and then I would play that back as loud as I could, upside down on top of the other one, and record onto that one while I played on this busted keyboard. And then after a while, I would actually have like multi-tracks, like recorded, and then I would sing over it. And the funniest part was, by the time I was done, like I'd done all that work, but you could barely even make out any noise other than the singing. When I hear a song, the first thing I hear is what the person is saying, what the words are. The second thing I hear is how the words sound mixed to the rest of that song. Then I move into percussion, then I move into the bass, then I listen to the other sounds as they hit me. But words are the first thing that stick out to me, so to me, words are what makes a song. The story of how I actually became a rapper, per se, is it's who I ended up being friends with. If I had grown up in a high school where there were people I hung out with who created a band, I would be doing rock music, alternative music. If there was someone who was a guitarist who only played on an acoustic guitar and all just wanted to recreate old folksy sounding songs, then I would have written folksy sounding songs. My best friends asked me if I could make rap beats. You think you could make a rap beat? So I tried it, and I did it, and it was easy. It's just repetitive noises over and over again, and you can just mishmash different sounds and go, it keeps the tempo, I can rap to that. You know, it was easier. So the simple reason of how I became a rapper is it was easier. And at that point, my focus was so entirely on what I wrote and what I said that the music in the background could have been anything. It could have gone in any direction, and I would have gone with it. But, so the hip-hop beats became what was most prevalently available. Using a turntable or using sample sounds of things, you have no limitations. I want a symphony orchestra, I'll go find the sample sound of a symphony orchestra and use it however I want to. So I can put my background however I want. But at the same time, your limitations are only what you place upon yourself as a rapper. Because as a rapper, you can take it in any direction you want. You could be a folk music rapper. You can be a classical music rapper, if that's what you wanted to do. So that's one of the things that's so beautiful about hip-hop, is that you can take everything else and completely mishmash it in, and as long as you're and you're rapping to a beat, like it could be any beat, absolutely any beat. There are no limitations. What I came to love about hip-hop is that I can say absolutely everything I wanted to about that topic, and no one's going to give me crap because I wrote a 4-minute song with 3 verses. Whereas to say all that same stuff, I would have had to have written 5 songs. And then someone can look at me and say, yeah, you wrote 5 songs about the same thing. Well, this way I wrote 1 complete song about the same thing. I can finish an idea and I don't have to worry about keeping you entertained long enough to get to the 5th song to hear everything I had to say. I can make my point and get that idea across in the 1 song. It allows me to make each song a separate emotion, so I can give you an inclusive idea of everything that I am, as opposed to simply capturing 1 moment, 1 period of time. Talking to someone, there are tones and minor little things you can change about the way you say something that completely changes what it means. So if I just wrote it, it is so completely open to this grand interpretation because the reader is imagining all of the tone. When I record vocals and you listen to it, I have so much more control and so many more avenues I could go with how to tell you a story by not just what I said, but how I said it. Because, obviously I want other people to interpret what I'm saying however they want to. But at the same time, there was something I said and I meant what I said, and I'd like you to get that point as well. Alright, here we go where I start to sound really kind of crazy. Like I haven't gone there before. I try to represent people who would not typically be represented in hip-hop. That's it. So I started making hip-hop music. I don't really fit the stereotype of someone who would make hip-hop music. So I make my music for those who aren't those people. Who aren't already represented, because the people who are represented in hip-hop is a very small group of people. Even now with your whole nerdcore rising, yeah, great, let's rap about how we are corny. That's wonderful. That's good. So that's two groups of people that are represented. So I try and just represent everybody else. People who don't get spoken for. I have to imagine that as odd a person as I am, in my life I've met enough really odd people that I know there's someone else out there who's going to feel the way I did about that topic. That's going to draw something positive or draw something more evening about that topic. I'm just trying to open up the gray area. If we look at this and we're constantly looking at this side of everything, it's all over here, it's all over here. Well, someone needs to come along and tell you this side of things so that at least you're aware of that side of things, so then you can move along. Maybe you'll think in here, because that's the only way society can get along. You can't do it the way this people want to do it, do it the way these people want to do it. You have to do it in a way that everybody can live. I just want to expose people to other concepts, just other ways of looking at things. Just so that I just want people to think, really. That's what it comes down to. I just want people to think. Too many people simply just either do as they were told or do as they think they're supposed to and don't think about why they're doing it. Because, I believe life should be kept in a gray area. Kept in the middle, kept here. So many people are living highs and lows, and now the highs aren't as good if the lows aren't as low, and now you're just playing with your own emotions. I just want to stay steady. All I want to do is put a different perspective out there so that people see that it doesn't have to be black and white. That's my only real goal. My only real goal is to paint the idea that you have a choice. You always have a choice. The fact that I can write something really positive and uplifting, that when I turn back around, when I'm feeling kind of down, I can listen to that and be like, oh yeah, that was stupid of me. Why am I acting like this? It doesn't matter. This is what matters. This way I can always go back to a concept to remind myself of the positive things, or remind myself of the other people in the world that are having issues, and if I'm, too much in the positive direction.
Same song people been singing for so long. Yeah. They can't get it out of their heads when they go home. We all want something, cause something's better than nothing, but nothing gave us something to grow on.
My first CD, Finding Boss, is essentially all about, I had a group, the group broke up, or I chose to go my own separate way from the group, however your perspective chooses to be. And I used that opportunity to write all the stuff that I couldn't have written within that group. Because as a group, you want to do something that is agreeable for the whole group. You're not going to present a concept that doesn't necessarily reflect everyone in the group. So you have to keep it more general. Whereas when I moved on to being solo, then I could actually focus on ideas that were issues I was having trouble with. So then, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm figuring out about that, this is how I feel about that.
I don't really want to shop for clothes, man. I don't really want to watch the hoes, man. I just want to go rock a show and just let go.
When I moved into the second album, it was essentially me saying, well, I've decided to be a rapper now, and this is what other rappers are talking about, so why don't I take absolutely everything that other rappers talk about and show people you don't have to be that way. Alright, well, you want to go chase after some ass and see this girl shake it and all this, and I'm going to tell you, like, I like a brain woman. I like a smart girl, you know. Everybody talks about, like, that player sneaking in and he's going to go steal your girlfriend. Well, what about the nice guy? The nice guy is going to go in and steal your girlfriend completely inadvertently. I didn't even mean to do that. Bosses was far more a concept album. It was being a satire. It was, I'm literally going to just take everything I've heard in hip-hop and flip it on its ear.
This ain't a game, it's a business. Problem is, this business is finished, cause people don't buy CDs no more. People don't buy CDs no more.
So as I moved into the new album became going from ripping my guts out and putting them on a table in the first album, and the second album just writing a complete satire of what hip-hop is now, to moving into the third album where I basically went back to the original idea and said, all right, so what's all the stuff that I need to dig up out of my guts and lay on the table again? I'm just nowhere near done yet. Absolutely nowhere near done.